between both political parties, a feverish need for control that I don't ever recall. You know, you could watch the debates between there's a real funny one between Reagan and Mondale, and Reagan says at one point, you know, age, he was 74 maybe when he was running for re-election, and his age was an issue. That might be an issue in this upcoming election. That'll
be a spring chicken in this election.
Yeah, and Reagan said, he said, listen, I'm not going to allow age to be an issue in this debate. I will not hold the other candidates' youth and inexperience against him. I mean, he just turned it into a joke.
Yeah.
But it was a joke, and Mondale laughed. I think they shook hands. It was a civilized debate about what's the way to run this country. That's pretty quick right there.
He did look pretty old back then.
Campaign. I am not going to exploit for political purposes my opponent's youth and inexperience.
And Mondale laughed.
Yeah.
What a better time back then. What a better time. These two guys are in a debate, and he's just like, oh, you got me. Good job. He just took it on the chin.
Yeah.
Like a man. How come they can't do that anymore? Look, even the fucking guy.
I might add, Mr. Truitt, that it was Seneca or it was Cicero, I don't know which, that said, if it was not for the elders correcting the mistakes of the young, there would be no state.
Mr. President, I'd like to head for the fence and try to catch that one before it goes over, but I'll go on to another question.
So it was a time when you really feel like, and forget political leanings, both of those guys, it seemed, you know, they had different ideas about the way to get to the same place.
Yeah.
And I think we're in a very unique place right now where no one's even talking about where we're trying to go. This is really about thought and beliefs. No one's talking policies. I haven't heard anyone talk about various policies in 4 years. What we're talking about is, which, by the way, when you're talking about what you can believe and what's this, and we're going to argue about arbitrary things that aren't arguable, really, and we keep our focus on that, and everyone's so impassioned about their position on some social issue that we have no solution to, then you don't focus on a $34 trillion debt. You don't focus on the fact that we're so reduced in our position on the world stage. There was a time when our military and our political resolve was so aligned that nobody wanted to fuck with us. And we could sit there and say, hey guys, we're not going to have a war in Ukraine. We're just not going to do it. And they go, okay. You know, if you think about 9/11, and George W. Bush was not a very popular president at that moment in time. And people have forgotten that Al Gore and the Democratic Party, and I didn't vote for George W. Bush, they contested that election then. They said it was rigged. They said it was this. They took it to the Supreme Court. It was we didn't have a president really for almost 2 months.
Was that the dangling chads?
Yeah, that was the hanging chads.
Hanging chads.
And then cut to, you know, a year later, and he's woefully unpopular. And then 9/11 happens, and he gave a speech, the best speech of his entire presidency, I thought, that galvanized the nation. And I remember, and I lived in L.A. at the time when that happened, and everybody they'd see a fireman or a policeman, and they'd say, "Hey, thank you for your service. Like, let me buy you a cup of." Everybody in L.A.
Yeah.
And there was a sense of the sacrifice these guys and these men and women took on, and we were really unified, moving forward against what we needed to do to protect our sovereignty and protect the people of the country. Then it got fucked up, and then it became about oil and became about a bunch of other things.
But there was a time, that time was the best of us. That time, I remember driving to work, and I was driving down the street, and every fucking car had an American flag on it.
Yeah.
My friend Jay London used to sell them. Sell these little
But
American
I
flag
don't know.
things that
Yeah,
stick in your
everyone
window.
had them.
Everyone had them. They're
And
so
this is
popular.
Los Angeles. This is
in LA, yeah.
as liberal a city as there is in America.
They woke right the fuck up,
Yeah, they
and
didn't-
everybody came together, and people were nicer for a while. It was
Yeah.
interesting.
It was a really unique time.
But it didn't last. You're right. It didn't last. But also, it was like, wait, why are we going to Iraq? It got real squirrely, real fast.
Well, that's...
And the weapons of mass destruction thing and all that other stuff. It's like, God damn it. Like, we had the world's faith and love for a little bit. But we did what we do. We did what we always do.
Yeah, we found a way to make a business of it.
Well, it's what people do.